David Tafuri is a lawyer, a former advisor to Barack Obama's presidential campaign, and he joins us tonight to assess this new addition to the Democratic primary field. Great to see you, David. So if you could summarize the skateboard candidacy of Beto O'Rourke, how would you?
Well, I'd say on the behalf of the Republicans, it's fear, because you just spent 10 minutes being sarcastic about Beto O'Rourke, as did Chris. You guys are pretty funny. You came up with some good attacks on him, and I think those are some of the attacks the Republicans will use.
It was easy.
But you know, there's a super PAC in Iowa, Fund for Growth, that's already put up ads against Beto. They started last week before he even declared for president. That's because Republicans are scared of him as a candidate. Now, why are they scared? Number one reason is because he ran for Senate in Texas, which is a red state.
Wait, can I just pause really quick and say, if Republicans are afraid of him, that means that he's harmless. I mean, Republicans also thought Jeb Bush was going to be the nominee. So Republican consensus is almost never right in politics. That's not a good marker. But tell me why you think he's a great candidate. He just lost the Senate race.
As I was saying, you know, he almost won in a super red state, Texas. That means he can bring over independent voters to vote for him. No other candidate on the Democratic side has been able to show that they can do that in a red state, statewide. He also is a prodigious fundraiser. He raised $70 million for his Senate campaign. That's a record. No other candidate for Senate on either side of the aisle has ever raised that much money. That makes him a formidable candidate. Now, he doesn't have a full platform of issues.
Okay, so he's got the billionaire class behind him. Okay.
He doesn't have a full platform of issues yet?
Well, he doesn't have, he has got a tote bag and some talk about extinction, but he doesn't have really a platform at all. And so why would you announce for president before coming up with answers to the most basic questions about where the country should go?
Well, it's a good question, and I think it's a strength and a weakness for him. I mean, obviously, the weakness is he doesn't have a full platform of things he can run on, though he was a congressman for 6 years, and he did vote on lots of different legislation. But he has to now build his platform, but it can be purpose-built for 2020, aimed at the center. He's a moderate Democrat, so he can distinguish himself from the left-wing part of the party. He's going to distinguish himself from Bernie Sanders and from Elizabeth Warren, and he's going to go on that track.
No, you're supposed to be defending him, and now you're attacking him. You just said he would build his platform purpose-built for this election. In other words, he would be whatever he thinks he needs to be. He's totally as hollow as he seems. That's what you're saying.
That's not what I said.
If he believes something, why doesn't he just tell us what it is?
One of the reasons he's appealing is because voters view him as genuine. That's borne out in the election results in the Senate campaign in Texas. That's borne out in the polling as well. So he's going to build an agenda. It's going to be consistent with his own values. What I'm saying is he's not on the record on lots of different issues. So he can build it in a way that's consistent with his own values, but tracks towards the middle of America and shows a serious contrast with President Trump, whose poll numbers are still very low, historically low.
So let me ask you really quick. Oh, I think a Democrat has a shot for sure. But Beto specifically, very quick. He on camera said that we should tear down the border barriers that separate the United States from Mexico. Are you for that?
That's not what he said. He said we should tear down the wall in El Paso, where he is from, because actually the crime rate went up in El Paso after they built the wall. That's a fact.
The city on the other side, that's not, hold on, the city on the other side is one of the most dangerous places in the world.
But not El Paso.
So why would you...
But not El Paso.
Because there's a wall between them. Okay, so do you think we should tear down the border wall between El Paso and Juarez? Do you think
I don't. I do not think we should tear down the wall.
Because it's insane, actually.
But immigration is going to be an important issue for Beto. And what he's going to have to be able to show is that because he's from a border town and he's from a border state and he's been in local government and in Congress, that he knows how to deal with the issue of immigration. He certainly cannot be for open borders. He can't be for open borders because America's not for open borders.
Well,
but he can come up with some reasonable solutions and compromises that all of America would support, that would protect our country, but have a path for legalization for some folks who are here, like the TPS and Dreamers.
I think your average person would say tearing down the wall between El Paso and Juarez is not a mainstream position. I mean, you don't support it.
I don't support it. I agree with you.
But we'll have plenty of time to talk about this as the Beto movement continues, dude. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.